And I said, yeah, I need them back.
We can't win.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, Steve, get me in.
Log on.
I can't get in, Steve.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday, September 19th, 2022 Litchfield Board of Selectmen meeting. The board has just come out of a paperwork review. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, we have the review and approval of consent items. We have an account payroll manifest of September 20th, 2022 in the sum of $48,690.05. We have a payroll manifest of September 22nd, 2022 in the sum of $62,137.84. We have the prosecutor contract. We have the purchase order M22-30, Global Public Safety, in the sum of $16,798.62. Are there any items members would like to remove from consent? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's.
Second.
Second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor? Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Is there any other business members would like to add this evening? Hearing none, public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 p.m. Selectman Larry will be here. He's just running a few minutes late. First item we have is the approval of the September 12th, 2022 minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review? And if so, are there any comments or corrections?
I'm good.
Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch.
Oh, we're both pointing at each other. Second.
Second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor, Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we have Heritage Commission appointments of Marion Colby to expire on March 31st of 2025, and Gail Behringer expires on March 31st of 2025. Ms. White?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm starting the agenda part. So I got an email from Carl Frank last week, and he said that the Heritage Commission has requested that the Board of Selectmen appoint Ms. Colby and Ms. Behringer as members of the Heritage Commission.
Okay,
And I see they're both here tonight.
Yep, and they're both here this evening. If you'd like to come up and sit, see if any of the board members have any questions or comments before we approve.
Again, you're both new to town.
Right.
Very.
Yeah, they just came in from Philly.
As always, we thank you for wanting to give back to the town and help out. Is there any comments, questions, or anything?
No, they're both on the Historical Society. I think they're all family members over there. I'm the odd one out. They're all related somehow.
Well, I'm happy to say that my family dates back to 1736, Century Farm, the same family right down all those decades and years. And I'm steeped in history and really am committed to the Historical Society and the community at large.
I've actually stepped in when Kim Queenan became a selectman and a spot opened up on the Heritage Commission, but through some administrative snafu, I was never really actually approved and appointed. But I've been functioning as the secretary of the committee for for a couple years, I think. So my family's only from 1922, so only 100 years, but I am interested in the town history and, preserving the heritage. So that's my qualification
And a hard
for that.
worker.
Back in the house that she grew up in.
Right.
Yes.
So this is the centennial year for the Colby family.
Correct,
Wow.
That's great.
correct.
Yep.
Well, thank you for willing to help and give back to the community as always. Do we have a motion to approve Ms. Colby and Ms. Behringer?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second?
second by Mr. LaSalle's. All those in favor, Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. I guess you just have to go to the town clerk to be sworn in?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Swearing in.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
She likes swearing people in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get the paperwork over to them tomorrow morning,
Okay, great,
okay?
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll jump over item 3 and wait for Selectman Leary to be here. Next is the resignation of Officer Jared McDonald. Ms. White.
Yeah, with much regret, Officer Jared McDonald has given his resignation. He was hired here in April of last year, and he gave us 2 weeks' notice Friday.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sad to see somebody go.
Especially bad since he's a Litchfield native.
Yes.
He's only been here for a while. And all feedback says that he was a good officer. It really points up to the fact that we need to resolve some things.
Fully agree.
I agree.
So,
Do we have a motion to accept the resignation of Officer Jared McDonald?
No.
so move.
Okay.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor? Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Ms. White, could you please send him a note just
Yeah.
thanking him for his service to the town?
I will, yeah.
Is he going someplace special?
He didn't say
Okay.
in his,
Just
letter,
asking.
and I didn't get to talk to him, I just sent back that I was sad to hear that.
Next, we have Litchfield Youth Soccer League donation in the sum of $2,943.09. Ms. White.
So, Steve Gannon, the chair of the rec, had spoke last week, about the drought and the effect it was having on the fields at, Sawmill Park. So the landscaping company that does, our landscaping there was gonna do, they authorized them to do two treatments on the field. And the Litchfield Soccer League voted to pay for one of those treatments.
Yep.
So we've already paid, through the town, out of their budget, both of those invoices. So I'd like to credit back their line to pay for that.
Okay.
So we're only paying for one and the soccer will pay for the other one.
So the sawmill got a fungus. And
Yeah,
had a special treatment for it. So they, for the time being, moved over to Dara and did some of the soccer there for a week, and then they had to put down the two treatments. So since soccer uses it primarily, they had enough extra fund that they wanted to give a donation
yeah.
to help offset the cost. So do we have a motion to approve the acceptance of the donation in the sum of $2,943.09?
So move.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's,
Second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor, Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we have the Fire Department Warm Zone Grant reimbursement of $6,000. Ms. White?
So this is a grant that the fire department had applied for, back on September, of 2021. And it was used to purchase vests, helmets, ID panels, and medical equipment. So when you process it, we have to, pay for it first, get all the canceled checks, send all that to them, and then they reimburse us. So, this is the reimbursement for the grant that was already approved.
Okay.
Who's the grant through?
It was a warm zone grant through the state of New Hampshire, Frank? Yeah, Homeland Security.
So it's a federal thing, or is it state?
I believe the funding originates at the federal
Federal
level, but
comes
it's
to the
managed
state.
through the state.
Okay.
It's for active threat equipment, so we completed the training and now have the equipment and the ability to work cooperatively with the police department for an active threat situation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Do we have a motion to accept the Warm Zone Grant reimbursement in the sum of $6,000?
Make a motion, we accept it.
Motion by Mr. Lynch,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Queenan. All those in favor, Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Ms. Queenan?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 4-0-0. Next, we have the application for public demonstration permit charity run fundraiser. Ms. White?
Oh, yeah, that came in late, sorry. It came in late on, Friday, so I added it to it. Who is it? Kevin Brown?
Yep, his
On
daughter.
Highway, his daughter is putting together it, cause she is running, and she ran in the Boston Marathon, and now she's running in, I forget which one he told me, another one. And through that, they have to raise money through the charities to, be able to do that. So she wants to do, they moved it till the end of the month, so they have time for it. But, all the other departments have signed off on it.
So police and fire have signed
Yep,
off.
police, fire, and,
You know which daughter?
Lindsay, I think.
Lindsay. Yep, Lindsay.
So we have all the signatures and everything, so.
Yep, you were
Okay.
the last one, yep,
Good.
yep.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve it.
Motion by Mr. Lynch,
Second.
second by Mr. LaSalle's. All those in favor? Mr. Lynch,
Aye.
Mr. LaSalle's,
Aye.
Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 400. Next, we'll get to budget review. We'll start with code enforcement, 424120. Ms. White.
We have Mr. Blackwell.
Blackwell's here.
Tonight.
Karen, before we get started on that, could you help me a minute,
Yeah.
or Steve?
Yeah. You want to get in?
Technology. I may have to ask you the same thing, but
We did as a favorite, right?
he's right here.
This week. Click that, maybe.
Karen,
Yeah.
you make copies of all the budgets, right?
Yeah. it was in
I
the
made
book,
copies for
wasn't it?
you.
Yes.
I didn't make, I just made 3. I didn't think everybody else wanted them.
Yeah, because I'm the older person here, right?
I know you, Rich, and,
Me and Rich,
Bob, I
different
gave
people.
them to- just in case.
I know.
It wasn't really, it
What
was
it
just in
was.
case. I mean, you can't even read them. There's
Oh,
so
I'm good
much
at Braille.
on it.
What's his account number? What is it? 411?
This meeting's
Where is
Just
code?
click the date. Should get it all.
Code is 4241.
4241?
All should be down here. There we
All
go.
right, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Should be a small one.
Good, or
I just passed it
good, I'm
again.
married.
424120.
Nothing.
you need me to check?
Yeah, give me if you can. I'm this far, but I can't go anywhere. That's why you're younger than me. You can do this. Computers are not a good thing. Good, there we go. Thank you.
You wanna come?
What's the first number? I get that. What's the,
It's,
get it? Get enough going on. 42.
it's 424120.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good evening and welcome.
Well, good evening. Thank you.
Okay. Ready? Hey.
Sorry, no worries. Just starting the budget. We're gonna start with inspection services, which is
4120.
4241.
Ready?
I am ready.
So his isn't, code enforcement isn't up too much. His, biggest is probably the wages. Temporary inspector, we were hoping to try and get somebody, next year to fill in for vacation time. Health insurance, we don't have in yet. Dental, we don't have in yet. Printing, we went up a little bit. What?
Slight increase just for additional costs of the inspection reports and labels and whatnot that just low on, so.
Dues and subscriptions, we left the same.
So back to the temporary inspector, do we have the same, I thought we had a deal with Hudson that would help each other out on vacations.
I'm not familiar with that at all.
That's what I thought, 'cause I thought sometimes, Steve Doobie.
Steve Doobie
Yeah, I thought
did it,
Steve is the fire inspector. When you get in the building, that's a different
Yeah.
I
call.
thought we had somebody else that would come over and
Okay.
do it.
we used to have
Didn't
John
they do some?
Gilchrist, but he doesn't, that was a few years ago, yeah, he's
Yeah,
retired.
they have helped us.
I thought they had to.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's an agreement.
We used
It
to
was
use
just-
John Gilquist when
Yeah.
I was out
Yes,
too.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's long retired now, right?
He is retired.
Yeah. I don't think he's really doing it at all,
No, right now
so we'll
he
have to
can't.
try and find somebody on that.
I can help you with that, because I know some people on the outside are available,
Okay,
okay?
Good, thank you. Sorry, we're back down
Oh,
to
that's
the
all right.
increase in printing.
and then dues and subscriptions stay the same?
Same. The vehicle repairs and maintenance, we lowered that to adjust for the new vehicle. books and periodicals, we've increased that to 1,500. It's a new code cycle, so need all the new code books. Uniforms, reduce that slightly, down to 300. And the seminars and conventions, we've reduced that slightly. Just part of that is just not being able to make all the inspector seminars and whatnot.
Okay.
If they were even having monthly, which they haven't been, but
Well, I understand they're not right now.
so.
Yeah, so his bottom line is only up $1,224.
I like it.
Majority of that being wages, so.
Yeah.
Anybody have any comments or questions? All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to Health Department, 441110.
All right, where is, what is it?
441110.
Health Department, that one really, stayed the
Nope.
same.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, so,
Like that.
yeah, no change in that one at all.
Basically daycare inspections, health complaints, septic complaints, stuff like that.
Any questions? All right.
That
It was
is.
easy.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jeff. Appreciate it.
You
Have
can
a
be
good
home
night.
by 4:30 too.
I got ZBA tonight.
Oh, got you.
Thanks, Jeff. Take care.
Oh, you're not going to the school? No, mind.
Next, we have Fire Administration, 422010. Welcome, Chief.
Afternoon.
Good to see you.
Chief.
4220,
422010, you said?
Yeah.
yes.
There it is.
Okay, putting ambulance aside here for a minute. I'm ready whenever.
Okay,
Yep.
do you want me to start?
I can, doesn't matter.
Doesn't
It's not
matter.
gonna connect, so I'll wing it. Alrighty, so, increase in some of the, wage lines due to merit increases from last year. And then, the full year of the additional 4 hours, for my position. Just down to, one of the noted changes is, 120, our call firefighter, wage line. I am proposing to add weekend coverage for 2 firefighters, 8 hours a day, no different than we do Monday through Friday during the week. We have experienced a significant decrease in personnel available on the weekends. I don't know if it's, we're free to roam the country again and people are out doing such, but our numbers are considerably down for weekend calls. So it was done prior to my arrival and shortly after, and we had problems with actually filling it, so we transitioned away from it. But I think all in all, at this point, we need to think about staffing regular crews more than relying on people being around on a beautiful Saturday or Sunday afternoon and January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December, so. And I can't tie it to any given time of the year. I mean, summer seems to be a little bit more prevalent, but it was, we kind of look back over the last 12-plus months, and it's fairly consistent. So 1, maybe 2 people at times, and that's just, I can't comfortably say we have adequate coverage with that, so.
Okay.
Putting staff on, for at least during the 8 to 4 hours is at least gonna guarantee that we can respond to calls during those hours, so.
So would
So
this
that,
be,
I'm sorry, that's, I propose starting that April 1st, so once the budget passes, we'll start it. And the cost for that is 32 hours a week, times 40 weeks, is $24,320. Sorry.
No, I was gonna ask, so this will be filled by your, on-call guys?
Current staff, correct. So let me clarify that.
Won't be OT.
Yes, call in per diem staff, not our full-time staff.
Okay, because that would make it quite a difference. for-
Yeah, no, it's budgeted at call and per diem staff, so.
So you have 25,020 for that?
24,320. So I'm just trying to see what other line increased,
I'm looking.
because it looks like it's up 25.
Oh, full-time coverage slightly,
Oh, there it is,
So-
yep, $600 went up.
but then the
Oh.
repair wage went down slightly.
No, you've got slight increases in all of them,
All
because
of them,
again,
yeah.
it's based on the merit. So what I basically do, historically have done, is take the average hourly rate for the call department times the formula I have, so it's gonna fluctuate.
Which line is that?
Okay.
I think for weekend coverage, I think that's pretty good deal for the town, myself.
It also, there's other benefits to that. It gives our call personnel the opportunity to actually be in the station and see that side of the dynamic, and not coming from home, hurrying to get, gear and so forth. They're there. They'll obviously be paired up with a more senior person so that we have some kind of, and the on-call officer would still be available. So it also gives the on-call a little bit of time to, do a Home Depot run or whatever they need to do and not feel like they're abandoning town, so. Okay, moving down, again, pretty much all of the increases on salary lines are tied to merit increases. I did add, and again, in the call training wage, we have seen and to the positive, people interested in joining us. I know many of my colleagues have the opposite, and as it turns out, Deputy Travis just shot me an email this afternoon, said he has 4 applications for interviews, so I knew of 1, and somehow that's materialized into 4.
Oh, good.
So I did add hours for 1 additional training class, because most are coming to us with little to no experience. We have, every now and again, we get lucky, they're already an EMT, or they're already fire trained, or if we're really lucky, they have both, but for the most part, we're providing the training and so forth, so, and right now we have 2 in Fire 1, 3 just finishing their EMT, so we actually have 5, and 1 in a Fire 2, so 6 in training currently,
Oh, good.
so. Just gonna go down changes unless there's questions. Looks like long-term went up a little bit, Karen.
Yes.
Computer software contracts, so we have, it's called the Knoxbox system. It's a key secure system in each of the apparatus that secures the key that gets us into all commercial buildings in town. Like everything else, that's gone cloud-based for updating and so forth. So that comes at a cost, so that's $600 starting next year. And that basically allows us, when we're adding in people in and out of the system, it just does it when the truck comes in, and we don't have to have somebody physically go around with a laptop and a cable to every truck, so. On the flip side of that, next year will be the last year that we should have to pay for our firehouse software that is being end-of-lifed. And right now, we're looking at transitioning to a new program the state has put out at no cost.
Oh, nice.
So,
So you
comes
want
at
a yearly fee.
I guess, an end,
State doing it no cost?
it's based on the same program as our medical reporting that the state, well, we're paying for it, just not
Yeah.
with local dollars. But we have that contract with Firehouse through the middle of next year, so we won't be renewing that next July, so.
Just a question, Chief, on the commercial locations in town. How many are there?
Can I phone a friend? Doug would be able to tell you in a heartbeat. Well, I say commercial, like Town Hall has a key box, there's a key box here.
The businesses on 102?
No,
Rec hall, schools.
the schools have them, there's not one at the old firehouse, we never
It's
needed
one
one
at the
there.
old town hall.
There's one, yeah, there's one at the old town hall. 20, 25 maybe, rough guess.
At the most.
I'm just, well, when you said commercial, I was thinking about 102.
Yeah, we have a number of them down there.
And you got
Number
St.
of them on
Francis?
102 corridor, St. Francis, the other church on Colby Road.
Small tube,
Yep.
Continental.
Yeah, there is one on the scale house, if I recall. So yeah, pretty much, so any company or business that has either a fire alarm or sprinkler or whatever, by code has to have them. Some have them, even though they don't, just for access. So, and the key is unique to us. It's an act of Congress to get a key replaced. If it breaks, we have to actually send it back to them, certified mail, because they keep track of keys. So we keep them in what's called a key vault. You have to punch in a code, 4-digit code, that's unique to every individual, so we can track who takes a key out when, how long the key was out, and so forth. And the system alerts in the truck if the key's out. There's an audible and visual indicator, so there's no way to take it, and nobody really knows it, so. And we've never had a problem with the system, so this just updates to the system. And the new method of basically taking people out when they leave and putting people in, kind of no different than the badge system we have to get in and out of town buildings. Slight increase in pre-employment due to cost increases. Is that one I'm not using?
Who does our background checks?
So we do the reference checks and so forth internally. One of the deputies or I do them. And then we do criminal and motor vehicle record checks
Through the state?
through the state, yep.
Okay.
Yep, I have to make an appointment, go to DMV, then go across the parking lot to state police.
What's the motor vehicle, report for? Make sure they have a license?
License, any issues we may not want them driving town
infractions?
vehicles.
Anybody driving like Lynch?
And that has turned up issues that weren't disclosed, and probably issues that we didn't want those individuals driving town vehicles. So it has been the cause of only 2 rescinding conditional offers.
It's never a good start when you aren't truthful on your
Well,
resume.
and when you're interviewed, your ask is, when we do the background, are we gonna find anything? And when you say no, and it comes back,
Yep,
so.
like a ton of brick.
But the increase is on the physical side. So once all that's done, we send them for a physical with our occupational health provider up to the airport, Express Med, and they do a comprehensive physical based on NFPA standards. They put them through a physical ability test to make sure that they are physically able to do the job. So that's where the cost increases are. So I don't think the state's gone up on criminal and motor vehicle record checks, and I don't want to say it because they'll probably do it, but. Instructor services, our 2 contracts with our EMS provider and our fire provider have gone up. Cost of fuel for them to get here and so forth, materials. I guess on
How many EMTs do we have on staff that
all,
are certified?
all,
All?
with the exception of the 3 that are just finishing.
Yep.
All the
Everybody's
staff are
EMT
EMTs.
certified?
Everybody there is EMT?
Nice.
Yeah, unless they're brand new or they're the 3, I think the newest is actually Matt, and he's in class.
He's still going through the process.
Yep.
Very good.
So we have 3 going through that right now. Actually, I think they finished, they're waiting to test,
Back-
so.
Back in the day, it used to be called first responders.
Yep.
Now they went to EMTs.
Yeah, and so, yeah, we, those that had been around a while and have kind of, through attrition, and everybody now has, and these 3 guys want to do it together, which is actually, in my mind, the best way, because you've got somebody to study with and bounce things off, and so.
Very good.
Yep,
Thank you there.
The $2.25 a gallon for 5,000 gallons, is that diesel?
oh, no, that,
He's done.
you at 411, Rich?
Yes.
Heating? No, that's propane.
Propane.
That's a good price. They're not gonna
That's
go
whatever
up
we
on it?
contract.
Yeah, we got a contract
We're on-
from Easton for 225, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're still doing it with the school, right?
Gonna change
From
it.
Yes, we
from
go with the
Eastern?
school.
Eastern, yeah.
Oh, they charged me $4.
So we bulk buy with the school
Yeah,
district.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
we
had
lock in the
to-
price based on the school and town
The
usage,
school
so,
does that. It's the same thing for the whole town.
Yeah.
right.
I used to get to school, and then we came on board here, and
Yeah.
helped out back, it worked out great.
Yeah.
So obviously electricity went up,
What?
not as bad as I was thinking, so. Heating, that's gone up because I think we were paying
Oh, I think 185.
I was thinking
think it was-
175, 185 last year, so.
Yeah.
Water, we've seen a slight tick up, and, I got a
They don't
bill.
charge us for the hydrants, though, other than the rental, right? We put a meter on those yet.
So we don't get charged anytime we use a hydrant.
I know.
We also don't get charged, we have three water meters at the fire station. We have a domestic one, which is all the domestic water. We have the fire protection one, which is just a sprinkler system. And then we have a non-revenue meter that is a direct line out to the apparatus bay. So if we fill the trucks, it'd be no different than if we fill it off a hydrant.
Okay.
But when it's 20 below, it's easier to fill the truck in the station, safer. So that, I think we may pay $75 a year for the backflow prevention check on that. But given the amount of water that we put in a truck over the course of a year, and I think I just got a bill for $1.19 for that, I don't know. I couldn't make heads or tails of it, but, so no, we don't pay for the water we put in the trucks or use for training. or
That's still
whatever.
happening at the firehouse down there now? Because we turn that on each year for the historic.
Is there a meter down there? I've never seen a meter,
It's
if that's what
close.
you're asking. All right, station repairs and maintenance. Again, increases based on what we're seeing from this year's fire alarm testing, sprinkler testing, backflow prevention, our Plymouth vent system, filters and replacement for the HVAC systems, septic tank pumping. We have that, just to give you an idea, we have that proposed at $2,500. I actually just submitted a bill when I came over today for $2,000 for tank pumping. So they pumped 3 tanks last week, 3,700 gallons of fluid was $2,000 to get rid of. Now that one was our biohazard tank, one was our oil water separator, and the other was our septic tank, so.
What's the big jump in HVAC? Service maintenance goes from 750 to 3,500?
I believe that was the contract that Troy worked on just before he got the whole town on a contract.
Which outfit?
Is it affiliated?
Affiliated is who we used for years.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know he was looking to put, because he had called me to talk about, putting everything, and we did. So I would have to say that's the allocation towards the fire station, Bob.
Follow up on that.
I can follow up on
I know
that.
which one it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know what company it is. I know we had trouble getting companies to call him back.
Yep.
But
Because that's a, four
That's a big jump.
four times increase?
Yep.
I can hear Kerry Douglas now.
HVAC girl.
And she don't miss anything.
Nope.
But the gear extractor went down.
Yeah, there is some decreases, which is really good.
actually, you know what? I think that's a typo.
I think that's a cost figure.
Thanks, Frank.
So,
You had it going there,
so
good.
no, because I was looking for it to circle it, but if, and the gear extractor dropped, I think that was a typo in entering. I'm not looking at you to
That would
toss
be
you
me, yeah.
under the bus, but I know I can't enter this, so but I do know Troy was working on a service contract, so.
All right,
So
I'll
we're
have to
missing a
look
zero?
at that, but
It looks like
So-
they dropped the zero, yeah.
I know the pest was like 350.
It's the overall number, 66.
Because the pest is in
So
there at
we need
1,300.
to, we need to look at those three and get those numbers squared away. My apologies on that.
sorry.
No worries.
So moving to dues and subscriptions, really the big change there is our dues for the Southeastern New Hampshire Regional Hazardous Materials Mutual Aid District have come out of emergency management since prior to my arrival. That really falls under the fire. So we moved it it's a direct move from emergency management to fire, so
Okay. You'll see the decrease in the other one.
the decrease over there, so that's really the big thing there, and then a couple of dues went up. One dues went away, but they just tacked it into the national dues, so. Community relations, again, the cost of the little red hats and all the information went up, so. And our open house is coming up. We're changing it up this year. We're doing an evening. Thursday evening, October 13th.
You have to
Gonna
wear a
try
mask.
evening. Not unless you guys decide that needs to be.
It's not Halloween yet, Kevin.
When's the parade?
Jack was supposed to.
Parade is the Friday before, so the 2nd, I think it is, no, 9th?
Second's a Sunday.
There's a
So
calendar
it's
on the wall over
probably
there.
the 6th,
The 7th,
7th.
October 7th, because that's the
Friday.
start of Fire Prevention Week is always the week of the 9th, so it's the week after. So that's why open house is on the Thursday, the 13th, so Friday, the 7th is the parade.
Okay.
And I believe that's a south to north this year, but the route will come out if it hasn't already.
What's the rain date for it?
Don't know there's ever been a rain date.
Knock on wood.
As long as
Office
it's not
supply-
white stuff.
I'm sorry?
As long as it's not white stuff. Take some rain.
Oh, the rain's good for you, so the snow.
It's just frozen rains.
It's cleansing.
Decrease in office supplies, just kind of based on what we've used. Everything tends to be more electronic nowadays. Postage, same thing, it's there if we need to ship something back.
Yep.
Slight decrease in equipment repair and maintenance, again, based on what we've seen for costs this year. Vehicle fuel, obviously, has gone up. We're estimating and using the chart and formula that I think Troy
Yeah,
developed a
yeah.
number of years ago, $4.14 a gallon currently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the only, the gallonage didn't change, it's just the cost of the fuel
That's a
changed.
good price for diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we've been, I know we haven't been paying that. And we're not taxed on our diesel. So
Correct.
we only pay I think it's the federal excise tax. We don't
Correct.
pay state and local and other taxes. And I wanna say we've been paying over $5 the last couple bills I've signed.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm not sure if that 414 is truly a reasonable number, and I hope by next year that we're paying that, but
Things are gonna change.
vehicle repairs and maintenance, it has historically been at 3,500. It got cut last year to 5, based on our year-to-date experience, and the fact that we've used 2/3 of our emergency fund.
You mean 35,000, right?
35,000, yes,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm proposing to go back to the 35,000, so. And we do know we have issues with engine 4, so as soon as engine 1 comes back, fingers crossed, we're bringing it back Friday. Engine 4 will be going to, that manufacturer's rep for a review and some repairs and so forth, so.
Any chance of engine 4 going through the same makeover that the other one?
I'm not gonna say no, but I'm hoping no. We know it's got some pump concerns that need to be further evaluated, and we're gonna have them just go through it while it's there and tell us what we're looking at, so. The flip side is this one, we're sending it out as opposed to we had to send it out. We're sending it out to find out.
Yep.
So, we don't have an issue, and then, and if it's something that needs to be done, we can bring it back, order the parts, when everything comes in, send it back to them, so.
Who does your repairs on your pumps and stuff like that?
So if it's something that can be done in-house, we use Perkins, W.D. Perkins, who's been around forever.
I know.
And then, or we use Lakes Region out of Tamworth. Engine 1 is at Greenwood, which is the manufacturer's rep for Emergency 1, which is the manufacturer. Engine 4 is a KME, so that's going to, I believe it's Bulldog Fire Apparatus, who does KME work, so. All right, books and periodicals, slight uptick there. And that's in the NFPA code updates, their price increased. And like Jeff, who,
You got the same problem too.
we're switching to the 2018 codes, and so we do the online. We only buy 1 or 2 books just for more of the handbook for explanatory material, but the bulk of our codes are all electronic. Uniforms and accessories, again, prices have just really got ahead of where we've kept up with, so
I have
this
a
is the big
question
catch-up.
on your electronic wear method. I'm new at this, okay, but do you have a computer in your car or your vehicle when you go out to do an inspection? You have a code question. You can look at it right there on site?
If we were set up that way, yes. It's a
If you were.
subscriber, so yeah, if you had if you had a tablet or even your phone, Steve could log in and look.
You can, okay.
Yeah, so we basically buy one subscription.
Yep.
So as long as only one person's on it at a time, so yeah, if Steve was out doing inspections, he could look, or Doug or I.
Okay, I'm just wondering. I know before you couldn't.
Or on
do
the
that.
iPads in the apparatus, they could do that.
Okay, I know the old days you couldn't do that, that's why I'm asking.
Well, I say that, I haven't tried it, but
I know
I'm
you and
pretty
I won't.
certain that it can be done, so, because you can
Okay,
access it from any, computer, so.
I love
As long
libraries.
as if you've got Wi-Fi, you should be able to get it, so.
Yep.
Protective gear is just the price and the timeline is just like a few other things out of control, so. We're looking at a year's lead time on gear. We have gear I ordered in February that I'm still being told we may see it wrapped for Christmas, so.
Where's that
Everything
come
else.
from?
Pittsfield. It's made in
Really?
Pittsfield. Globe Manufacturing. But it's not them, it's getting the material and the labor, well, it's some of them, but yeah, we have historically bought Globe Fire Gear, which is made right here in Pittsfield, New Hampshire.
Is it assembled up there?
It's from scratch.
So-
All the fabric materials come in on big bolts, they lay it out, they cut it, everything's done right there. It's a pretty neat process.
In other words, they can't get it from the ships.
Well, part of the problem is some of the fabrics, some of the materials they can't get. Preference goes, a lot of it's used in the military, and it's going there first. The military has first dibs on some of the fabric and fibers that they use, so. But it's also a labor thing, I mean, running at full tilt, they can turn a set of gear out, usually within 3 months. But they have everything, there's no supply chain issues, but they literally make it from scratch right in Pittsfield. Pretty impressive
How
operation.
many people they employed?
Couple hundred, anyway.
Really?
Several hundred, yeah. So. Medical supplies, same thing. The prices on that has, I think, gone up more than anything. So that is an increase there.
What's TABE?
What's what?
Replacement of consumable supplies such as gloves, tape, bandages, spine.
Tape. That just got reversed. The B should be a P.
P, not a D.
Okay, who does your corrections after you?
That could be, right? Cut.
Provisions, again,
That's-
had to
that's
increase it
spelled
a little bit. Provisions are, when we have a long-term incident or something that, actually our last fire at Wilson's was a perfect example. Came in at like 4 o'clock and, when the crews come back, we gotta feed them in order to get, them through putting the truck back in service, so. For trainings, when we do all-day trainings and so forth, so. Equipment repair, equipment purchase. Again, just toxic smoke, the medical simulation stuff, prices have gone up, so a $250 increase there. And the training, again, because I said we're bringing on new people, I think in the last just over a year, we've brought on 7 new members. So, and we still have positions open, so even with the 4 we have now, I think we still could use 1 or 2 more. So I did add a couple of extra classes, 1 extra class on Fire 1, 1 extra class in Fire 2, and 1 extra EMT class. So that's the increase in the 811 line.
A question, what is accountability tags?
So the accountability tags are how we track a firefighter on the fire ground. So every truck has a 3x5 plastic with Velcro on it. Every firefighter has 3 tags on the inside of their helmet. When they get on the truck, they pull the tag off, it goes on the tag on the truck, and then that tag gets transferred to the command vehicle, so that we track who's on. So when we have an issue and we do what's called a PAR, or Personnel Accountability Report, every 20 minutes at an incident, I can look and say, okay, there's 4 people on engine 4, there's 2 people on engine 1, and if something were to happen and we're missing, then I have actual names to be looking for that individual, so that we don't just, we're missing firefighter so-and-so, but, so it's how we track them on an incident, whether it's structural or brush. The forestry gear has the same thing, so, and it's pretty standard across the industry. I think the only one that's not using the similar system to what we are now is Bedford uses a different system altogether, but we can adapt to theirs and they can adapt to ours when we go there, so. So that is it for an increase in 66,285.
So I will say, if you go back to line 430, under that annual HVAC, that was the kitchen hood system last year for the 750. So I think you moved the kitchen hood system
Up
up,
one,
we
yeah,
added
got
the
'em, yeah.
HVAC.
Okay.
So we'll have to talk and adjust that.
Yeah, we'll double
now,
check that,
So they
but-
match what it was last year, or?
I think the only addition is we added, I don't know if it was early, right after budget started last year, we added JP Pest, and we had some issues. So we're on a quarterly program with them, and so that is a new addition to this year's budget. It wasn't there last year, so.
So 66 with 25 of that being the weekend.
Correct. Correct.
Anybody have any questions?
And we'll get those numbers squared away tomorrow.
Yeah. All right.
Nobody has any questions, we'll move on to 42-15-10, ambulance.
So I normally Troy has always handled this, and I am seeing an increase, which I wasn't expecting, from a conversation with Chief Buxton before he left. So, I'll say worst case is 64, but I was under the impression it was gonna stay consistent. But I don't know if Troy had some discussions, with Chief Buxton before, if there was a lapse that after I talked to Chief Buxton, Troy either had a conversation with him or somebody, in Hudson that,
But we just on that percentage of.
yeah, or it may actually be in the
Yeah.
It
agreement,
might be in the
but
contract, I
Budget.
thought there was,
We
it was
do have-
my understanding that with changes going on there, we weren't gonna see any increase this year, but again, coming into it without,
Well, that would be nice. I mean, we've only had 2 bills, because we get them quarterly, and, we're already up
right?
at 30.
And ironically, I was on the phone with Acting Chief Tice just before I walked back in here, and I hadn't seen this, or I would have asked him. So I'll check on that tomorrow and get back to you, but
okay.
Yeah,
hopefully it's gonna be the 60/50, 60,500, and not the 64, but I'm not sure where that 64,000 came from, so.
Me.
I'm looking through the contract. and
That I
don't
would have
see it.
just guessed it, because their contract, they take what their
It's a
budget is, and
formula,
their
it's a very
fiscal year,
convoluted formula.
And they take how many calls they had, how many calls at Litchfield, they get a percentage of that, and then they come up with the number that time, between their budget, and that's how they figure out what we owe each quarter.
And we haven't got,
Am I not plugged in?
We haven't got, we've only had first and second quarter.
Yeah.
We don't have
Oh,
third
it's
and fourth
daisy
quarter
chain.
payments. So
Power?
the third quarter will be probably coming in next month, October.
That was
So we've already paid, you know,
Mine's
33,600 in
not
2
You not getting
quarters.
juice either?
So we've
Or are you
kinda
plugged
high.
in too?
right here.
I think the tables got reconfigured one evening and didn't get put back together correctly.
You have power now, Robert?
Nope.
And then
Fit
the,
there?
what are you looking for?
I'm just wondering if there's a breaker somewhere that's,
Yeah, these plugs weren't working last week either. Remember, I had to go in the wall behind you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
you might be in luck.
Sorry, folks, budget's canceled.
I know, I tried to plug mine in for a game.
Yeah, where is it?
Is there a way for us to
Go ahead.
Is there one behind you, Bob?
document the average age in the
Behind your
town
computer,
as far as, I know we have
There you go.
like the over 55 communities,
Just don't get up and walk away.
and I'm just wondering if Litchfield's getting older.
Census should tell us that.
that,
Yeah, we haven't even gotten that though, have we?
I'm gonna defer to the NRPC rep.
Doesn't the census tell us that? About the age overall? But
We are getting
The
old.
what
the
would
age
tell us?
overall should
The
be in our
census.
US Census. I'm not sure when did that came out. I think it was like 2 years ago,
I
maybe?
thought it was posted during COVID, but then I thought,
It's the start of every 10 years.
Are you thinking more of a street?
My truck and
A
grab
street could
extension
tell you?
cords.
What's
A
that?
street name could tell you for certain areas of town.
But I'm just wondering whether our ambulance calls have gone out.
I know calls are up. I didn't think to look before I came over what we're at today versus last year, but I know the last time I looked, we were up, not significant, but, you know, not one or two either.
I know my house has contributed, but,
I've always used the back of the truck.
They don't provide reports on calls. They must have an itemized
As far as the
bill.
demographics,
You mean, Hudson, when they send it? No. They may get them, cause
no.
They don't send us an itemized bill, or?
I just get, so when they send us an invoice for that portion of it, it's just all their breakdown, and then they just tell us what we owe. When I get ambulance bills for people that haven't paid their bills.
Yeah, we get those once a year. We
But I don't get.
clean a lot of those
pages
up.
or anything.
Yeah,
on
any
those.
protected medical information, we don't.
Oh, HIPAA?
Yeah.
do we bill for ambulance calls?
So we have to pay anything to Comstar that goes to the town of Hudson that is not paid to Comstar that Hudson picked up in Litchfield. Yes, we do.
Cause I haven't gotten a bill.
So your insurance probably paid it. So if some insurances will pay the person directly, and then they keep the money and don't pay their ambulance bill. So if Comstar doesn't get paid by someone, the bill comes to us and we have to pay it.
But Karen does go through a process to try and collect it
Yes,
after
I do
them.
send a letter and try and collect
So
it.
Comstar will do 2 attempts,
They,
They do
at
2
least
attempts
two,
to
a minimum of
collect,
2, yeah.
and then it comes to us, and you do at least one,
Yeah.
right? If not
Yes,
2.
and then to try and get it to collections, but, cause I
Then
have
it
the
comes
two.
before us, but they still keep trying to
that
get a
would be a
collection penny on the
write-off.
dollars, but it comes to
Yeah,
us too.
that would
Comes
be
to
a
you guys when we're at
write-off.
the write-off point.
Yeah.
Yes,
But we
usually
try
once a
and
year.
get it to collections, but again, because of HIPAA, we can't get much
No.
information.
Last time I talked to Rob, we were, I mean, we didn't have a high non-collection rate. We were,
Actually, it's getting me nervous, cause we have been pretty good,
Yeah.
at least this year so far, it's come out of the budget.
so in other words,
But they did that to us a few years ago, and then I got
Right.
hit with a $20,000 bill, so.
Oh.
They did that to us twice, so
I'll follow up
they
on
said there was something wrong with their software and it didn't pick them up or.
So they're up
Next we have-
3,500, right?
What's up?
So they're up 3,500.
Maybe,
Maybe?
maybe.
Okay.
Frank's gonna check it out,
on,
the ambulance.
Oh,
Karen's
yeah,
gonna-
up to
oh, yeah,
3,500,
yeah. No, I gotta check that, because like I said, I was under the impression there was no change, but may have been no change in the formula,
Yeah.
but the numbers within the
Numbers could have
formula
changed,
changed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll get that clarified in the next day or two, so,
And Karen will update as soon as you figure out which
Yeah,
way it is.
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
all right.
Hopefully it goes down and not up.
Are we doing
Thank you,
hydrants?
chief.
Thanks, chief, appreciate it.
All right,
Have a good
thank
night.
you.
You well?
Are we doing hydrants?
He's not hydrants.
He's not hydrants?
No, I'll do.
Hydrants is town.
Oh, is it?
And we are getting more.
No,
Yes, I heard.
can we bring them
Wait,
1,000 feet
next
apart
year?
this time?
I
Wow.
think I counted 6.
For this year? What,
No,
for next year?
No, the Hillcrest stretch.
The Hillcrest Road Track. the
When did
mountain
they,
road.
It's literally
State pay for
in
those.
design, so next.
yeah, I knew they were sending
next
out
year.
letters and stuff, but
But I think I counted 6.
hopefully that doesn't hit us
The
till
dis- the
twenty
distance
twenty-four,
apart.
cause they kind of already gave
Same
us their.
1,000, give or take.
Yeah, quarter of a mile.
500, under the planning board subdivision, it's 500 feet. So
Okay,
I was here when I got here.
I know.
Wasn't my rule.
500 feet apart, so in other words, get rid
No,
of the
no,
hose.
1,000 feet apart.
1,000 feet apart.
So
Right,
the
1,000 feet,
subdivision
yeah.
says 500 feet to a driveway.
Yeah,
So if you figure this is the hydrant, you can go 500 feet on either side of it. So it's generally speaking 1,000 feet. If an intersection's within 100 feet or so, we prefer the intersection. So we kind of, let it slide 100 feet.
beautiful.
But I think like I said, I think I counted 6 on the little plan they sent us, so. But
Good budget overall, chief.
that's for next year's,
Going for 2024.
construction season. So next summer, we'll see part of Hillcrest, Shirley, all the sites.
Colonial, that area, yeah.
So, yeah, well, Colonial's already got some.
Yeah, they have some, yeah.
It's Shirley, it's,
All the side streets,
Scovey,
yeah, yeah.
Meadowbrook, and a couple, I think there's 3 on Hillcrest, so. All right, and
Very
thank you.
good.
I
Thank you.
catch that comment, so thank you. All right,
Thanks.
have a great evening.
Thanks, Frank.
Oh,
Be
you're
well.
welcome.
Thank you.
All right, next we have fire hydrants, 42, 20, 90.
Yeah, so Troy always reaches out to Pennachuck and they always send a formula. I mean, I have it going down by the way it's constructed, which makes me a little bit nervous, because I know they still had some recoupment costs and, but it's attached, their spreadsheet.
Actually down, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that was because of the,
Reassessment of the PUC, right?
Yeah,
Yes, with
I
the
think so,
PUC,
yeah,
but-
yeah. So 422, 740, down 5,846.
255 hydrants.
oh,
Yeah, that's a fire.
They're gonna rust out before we ever use them.
And one in Manchester.
And one in Manchester, correct. Yeah. So,
256.
Crazy.
City of Manchester, 1 hydrant at 185 a quarter. And then
Yeah.
Pennachuck, it just says 255 hydrants.
Just divide it out and you'll know what the rate is per.
Yeah, I think it's because of the pipe length and all kinds of stuff, isn't it? The way they do the hydrants? Or the thickness of the pipe or something.
Pennachuck East is eating us,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
But the Pennachuck itself is not. Look at the Hudson rates, they're much lower.
They don't pay for hydrants.
Okay.
All right, emergency management, 42, 90, 10.
All right, the only change we have there is where we moved the hazmat into the fire department. Otherwise, we kept it the same.
Down. Yep, it's down with the other one went up. Okay,
Like that.
I'd like to add something to this, we need to have somebody who's in charge of this department.
Yeah,
we had one individual
two
volunteer to take it over that we need to discuss at a
two.
later date.
We had 2 applicants?
2 applicants.
For hazmat?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew we had one. So we probably should put that on the docket for next time to talk about what we want to do.
all right.
Oh,
If,
for emergency management.
if Kevin, if you
Correct.
can tell me who,
Tom
can you
Schofield,
send me? Oh,
Alfred.
well,
And Mr. Burnell offered.
oh, yeah, okay.
John Brunel.
Yep.
John Brunel offers for everything.
He can't stay home.
Hey, does a nice service for this town.
All right, we'll put that on.
All right, next we have police administration, 4210.10.
I thought we were just gonna make him wait there all night. That's why we called everybody
He
else.
looks comfortable back there. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, thank you.
You're wearing a tie, you worry me.
421010.
It's good to have you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
What's the number?
421010.
Yeah.
So is the plan just to go through the major lines and
That would be the best, if
That
you
would
could.
The increases for the most
Yeah.
part.
the increases for the most part? So, under police administration for the salary lines for police officers, that is showing a significant increase, and there are a couple of reasons for that increase. One is the action from the town meeting from last year that added a sworn position to the police department. So we added that position to this particular line, as well as there are 2 officers that just recently became eligible to be master patrol officers. That changes their classification and thus changes their pay grade, as well as the increases, merit increases and COLAs that are reflected in the contract. So, unless there's questions, I'll move down to prosecutor. By action of the board, that line is being moved to contract prosecutor as opposed to a prosecutor as an employee. PD wages, special officers,
It was a savings of $80,000, correct? Is that what I'm seeing? On that line?
on that line.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, then we pick it up further down.
PD wages, special officers, we are proposing a reduction in that line from 95,231 to 57,058. And the reason for that is that we no longer have that part-time detective Coral. He has moved on, and essentially the action of the town meeting was for a school resource officer, and that's put in up above. So we made that adjustment. Overtime wages for the patrol officers, the uniform division. The increase there is reflective of the merit increases and the COLA reflected up above in the regular salaries, as well as looking at attempting to come closer to covering the liability that we have as it relates to earn time. Officers are allowed to accumulate certain amounts of earn time, have certain holidays. That is when you do the computation, that is a significant number of hours. We essentially did some research, came in with these particular numbers. We believe we can cover those liabilities by making some shift adjustments, but recognizing that there is going to be the need for overtime. So we made the adjustment from, it's about a 7.15% increase in that line. PD overtime training. The line covers the necessary overtime for required training as well as professional development training. We're leaving that line the same as we had the previous year. We believe that some of that training can be accomplished online, as well as some shift adjustments, so that on the, for example, the firearms training, we do half the department on duty one day, do the other half of the department on duty the other day. We feel we can stay within budget in that line. The uniform allowance, the adjustment there is to take into account the new officer. Community detail, we increased by $1,000. That is based on our past experience. There's been an increase in some of the community details that have come along that we need to cover. So we made an adjustment there based on experience. All of the insurances, the numbers haven't come in yet.
Yep.
That's always the wild card.
Yeah.
Yep. Line 325, PD prosecutor, is where we now transfer the amount of $62,520, which is based on the contract. So we now have a contract prosecutor as opposed to an employee.
Which is what, about $18,000 savings? I think the last one was at 80.
Yes.
Correct. 82, I think. it
Yeah.
was,
It's almost 20.
And then moving on to the next one that has any significant increase is software support. And we actually put this section together for the most part with Mr. Brunel's input, especially as it relates to the WatchGuard cruiser video system and the IMC support, both of which show significant increases in their maintenance costs for the upcoming year.
He alluded to that when he was doing the IT budget last week.
Correct. Moving down to things that have changed, PD general supplies, small increase there, although the percentage makes it look huge, but it's a small dollar amount increase based on our history, especially as it relates to batteries for the night sights on the firearms. PD equipment maintenance repair, It's again a small increase as it relates to specifically repairs to the radar units. Vehicle repairs and maintenance. We're actually proposing a small reduction in that particular line. And the reason that we are proposing that small reduction is that further down in the lines, you'll see a request for 2 new cruisers. And that will give the first line fleet 3 essentially newer models, which we would hope that the repair rates would begin to reduce themselves. We are also using a local vendor as opposed to a dealership now for a number of the oil changes and things of that nature, which is a little bit better cost and a little bit more efficient. If by chance the 2 new cruisers don't come in, I would suggest that we'd have to revisit this line because our repair history and the current age of some of the vehicles would suggest that the line would need to be adjusted.
They're all within 5 years,
They are,
all the Tahoes. Yeah, we just went to those a while ago.
yep.
And I know one of the things that we had talked about when we went to them from the Explorers was that hopefully getting more life out of them versus three and done.
We're correct.
So, how old is the oldest one that you have now?
The oldest, give me 1 second, please. The oldest vehicle in the fleet?
No, the oldest Tahoe.
The oldest Tahoe is a 2018.
2018. Because it was discussed about versus doing, we used to do a 2-1-2 and then restart the cycle again, possibly going to just 1 a year. Because the Tahoes, they were more money, but they were supposed to get a little more life expectancy. So that might be something that the budget committee brings up. Just, and I know they'll be new to you, so that's just that's just a friendly fire right there.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate that.
And it may have been me that brought up the 1 per year.
Okay.
So don't sit next to him.
I fully support it.
Okay, thank you. Uniforms and accessories, the increase there is related to the additional officer, as well as the expected cost for outfitting a new officer for initial outlay of uniforms.
Hey, you left out 3,600 in seminars and conventions. That's a reduction.
Yeah.
You want to shout that at the top of your lungs, man.
Haven't got there yet, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of departments in the town are going up on their conventions. If you're going down, man, you want everybody to know.
PD equipment purchases is a significant increase. We've done an inventory on our bullet-resistant vests, found that we have at least 3 in 2023 that are going to need replacement because they've either exceeded their 5 years or they're coming very close. We're actually replacing 3, if not 4, this year as well, based on doing that research. Range equipment, radar units, replacement radar units, and new hire equipment.
In support now.
So new hire being the firearm and taser and things like that.
Right.
While we're on tasers, just notified a couple of days ago that we're beginning to have a significant problem with a number of them. So I am going to be needing to do some research to determine how to make the replacement for a good number of them. Which is my initial figures is a significant cost. Because of course they're a different model.
How do you know you have a bad taser?
Stand still.
If it, if it won't spark test properly,
Oh,
If
there's a
pre-shift.
spark test?
yeah, and then there's a display on these that will give you an indicator if the display doesn't come on. It's generally a battery, but if it's not a battery, then we're looking at something else. But if the spark test isn't sparky enough or doesn't spark at all, that clearly shouldn't be on the street.
Learn something new every day.
A shocking experience, though.
You can test them out on Mr. Lynch if you like.
I have no heart.
Okay. PD cruiser purchase, as we discussed up above with the vehicle repairs and maintenance, we are proposing 2 new Tahoes. My understanding is this is the year for 2. We got one last year. The upfit cost for these is very costly, and essentially the reason is a lot of the old equipment that we have won't fit the new design. They're a little bit wider, and in the back where you store the equipment crate, which is a custom-made thing, the wheel, it's deeper and a little shorter, so we can't use some of the equipment we have. But we're continuing to do that research. And then lastly, on seminars and conventions, I will shout at the rooftops for recommending a reduction in that particular line. And essentially, some of this, the training that is identified here can be done in-house, in-state, or online. So looking at that, we believe we can make that reduction.
You're learning.
And I think that did all of those lines.
So, an increase of 217,517.
Got it.
Yeah,
But if you take the cruises up, it's 89,000, and
This budget.
wages are 106, so it's actually down.
This budget has been so lean for the last
I
couple
know.
of years, and
Yep.
even the budget committee is absolutely giving you guys big praise for your budgets the last couple of years. When we did the freeze 2 years ago for COVID, and even last year, we kept everything straight, and you guys always got a big round
Very
of
good at
applause.
it.
Yeah,
they're a good crew over there, so,
but at some point, you have to spend some money.
absolutely.
I say that as a selectman, not a taxpayer.
Always crossing your T's, aren't you?
Thank you. Next, we have 4210.50, police support services.
That covers the dispatchers and the communication center. As you know, we staff that 5 days a week for 16 hours a day. Hillsborough County covers the off hours. And I believe the only changes in that area of any great significance has to be the wages, which are covered by the contract. And the good news is Hillsborough County informed me that their rate will remain the same for 2023.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we're only up
Oh, goodness.
$2,974, and it's all wages.
Correct.
Waiting on insurance.
Waiting on insurance,
Yep.
yes.
As always.
Yep,
All right.
it's not Karen's fault.
Well, thank you, we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Appreciate it. Can put away my red pen.
No mock-ups.
You worked in towns before, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Thanks, have a good evening.
you.
Be well.
What's that? Bye.
All right, next we have library, 4550.20, on cue.
She just
Couldn't have
got
timed
here.
it better.
Unless we wanna wait, do you wanna wait? Yeah, do you wanna?
Sure.
I think she's gonna be on her way, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll jump over to
Animal
animal control, 441410, Ms. White.
All right, let's see, what did I change in animal control? So I went up a little bit in electricity and heating and kept everything, the same.
Yeah.
So it went up $388.
Okay,
Okay.
you can live with that.
Yeah, not bad there.
So next we have health agencies, 441510.
And those are warrant articles, so that's on there, but that will be warrant articles. And we already started getting requests
You already
in.
did, yeah.
Yep, for next year.
So next we have insurance, 419690.
Way over there again? We gotta put these in proper order.
Other insurance, which doesn't, yeah, we don't have our liability from Primex yet. And the deductible, we've always, kept at, 2,000. Cause our deductible is usually 1,000 for, a vehicle accident, so. Hopefully Primex will get our regular insurances in, cause we don't have workers' comp or unemployment.
4196.
96. Really? Boy, am I off. What number? Oh, other insurance.
Yeah, it's
Other insurance, yeah, other insurance.
All right, personnel administration, 415510.
So, as you know, we're still even changing, personnel, so I did the best with the census that, we have now. So, we had put, life insurance, which I added the line this year, cause it wasn't, budgeted, but, disability went up slightly, and it has to do with 2 new employees and the increase in short-term disability, premium. The FSA, we have to pay when they do the flex spending, we pay a monthly fee for the ones that enroll. And, I think we usually, did I tag it down? We usually have about 12 that enroll at $33 a month, 10 to 12. Social Security is up. Not too bad though, surprisingly. Medicare is up. More so even though that's cheaper, but our offices don't pay social, so that helps. So a retirement, on 7/1 of 2023, we have a change in it again, and it's a little bit of a decrease. So, you
Just
see
not
the-
this year.
Yeah, 2023, it will, July 1, it will change, just a slight decrease. Police is up because of their, new hires and their wage increase. Employees up slightly for wage increases and new hires, and the fire, because we only have, the 2, they're down. And I think that is it, no changes in the other ones. I don't have unemployment and I don't have workers' comp in yet. That
So as
again
of
is
now, we're up
Primex.
$46,652.
Yeah,
That's not bad,
As of now.
yeah.
advertising.
Next, we have advertising and regional associations, 419710.
So I went up slightly in, public ads and notices by just doing the 3-year average. And dues and subscriptions, I'm not sure what NHMA is going to be, so I don't have anything from them yet. So I just plugged them in, and NRPC said they were staying the same. So, they went up 282 for their bottom line.
So public notices and ads, various notices for RFPs, hearings, legal requirements, and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
So when we have, deliberative, we have to do a notice in the paper.
the paper,
Yeah, not all our RFPs, go in the paper. We have, if we accept the money over 10,000, you have to have a public hearing, that has to go in the
but
paper.
when you say the paper,
Like Union Leader, cause we don't have,
so the union leader is the only thing.
Yeah, and then you have to advertise it on either your website, post it. Yeah,
On the town website.
yeah. So I just did the 3-year average of what we spent.
Today's world, you
What a
can get,
waste, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why in this world you have to still advertise, nobody reads the newspaper.
no, well, they do, they're gonna say this, that you get them online now.
Yeah, you can pay for a subscription online.
Okay, instead of
Yeah,
paying for the mail, the newspaper, you get it online.
yeah,
But do you get the ads online?
Yep.
yeah, I don't know.
'Cause,
Sure, you could get it all if you paid for it.
You get everything as you know and got.
'cause I have an online subscription to the Telegraph, but I don't see any want ads.
No,
Now, maybe I'm just not looking for them, but I look at the obituaries.
I do too, make sure I'm not in
Does it
them.
go under legal notices, that section of it?
yeah,
Yeah.
legal notices.
Check legal notices next time, Rich. You can let us know.
Legal notices. I can do that right now.
Okay. All right, next we have review of preliminary revenue estimates.
What number is that, Stevie?
There's
That's
no
way
number
at
to that.
The end,
That's the
yeah,
end.
That's at the
that's
very
way
end,
at
yep.
the end. I mean, that, that one doesn't change much.
Just say
I was a little nervous looking at, car registrations, cause they don't seem to be that much higher than we were last year in collecting them, so I don't know if they're kinda, leveling out. So, pretty much the same. I will say my concern is the rooms and meals. They bumped that up for those couple of years, and I don't know if they're taking that back. I don't know if it's gonna stay up, or it's gonna go back, down a couple $100,000. That's not gonna be good if it does. Cause we've received it the past few years, so we have to add it in on, and that, affects the tax cap.
Because I know we were worried about that during COVID, how it'd be affected.
Well, and then the state found money and gave us the 600 and something
Yep.
last year and this year. I don't know what they're gonna do next year. So I really won't know that until tax rate setting. They may be able to tell us, and NHMA hasn't come out and said anything, that I've seen on what it's gonna do for next year.
Hopefully it doesn't go
And-
back to the 350.
And they did reduce the tax on rooms and meal, right? They went from 8.5% to 8%, or 9% to 8.5%. They reduced it, I think, last year.
Oh.
Yeah,
With COVID
so I am a
coming
little
down,
concerned,
changing that.
I'm a little concerned with revenues. Interest rates do seem to be going up slightly, not that they're helping us much, but the bank interest rates seem to have gone up a little bit. So that's pretty good.
Like registration fees have gone up for motor vehicles.
Well, I put them up, I just don't know, by comparing them to where we were at last year, if that's still a good estimate, or if I could go higher. Cause when I do my reports, I can't pick a week, it has to be a whole month. So if I do it in the middle of September, I'm comparing it to either last August or the end of September.
Yep.
So I can't,
Birthdays you got going on.
can't do it.
There's a
I have to
lot
wait till the end of the month
End of the
to
month to
do
run it.
that.
of money
So,
in
hopefully,
This just in, the Telegraph does have public notices.
Okay.
I just never looked at it.
in default, I don't have, two of the, departments yet that, so I
So we
couldn't
can't do default,
calculate
yeah.
default. So maybe next Monday we could review default, or,
Okay.
I mean, cause that's yours, that doesn't really have to go to the budget
Budget.
committee, so. I don't know if you wanna look at the tax cap.
Well, I don't even know if we can look at that right now, can we?
Really?
Don't worry about it right now.
All right. Then you get preliminary budget adoption.
Yeah, you wanna wait for library?
We'll wait for library,
Yeah.
yeah, then we'll do that. So we can loop back up to school impact fee update.
Did you wanna do the, sorry, because I didn't change
Jump
the
one?
time on that, no, the public input.
Oh, yeah, we could. Seeing that it is 5:25, I'd like to open up public input. Are there any members of the public that would like to provide input this evening? Hearing none, we'll close public input. And now we can go to the school impact fee update. Everyone remembers last week, Dr. Jetty was here with the business administrator presenting, asking us for some impact fees for a bill they paid last year. So we did reach out to NRPC, who is doing the new impact fee scheduling, and to legal. NRPC came back, and the question to them was, could the school use impact fees to pay for an item from this year's budget that was already paid for in the prior year? And the answer back was, no, of course you cannot do that. The item was already paid for and you cannot double dip. So we got a no from NRPC, and legal counsel was, they thought they could.
She had, what did Laura say? She had first said, I've never had that question before, about, going back. And she really didn't see why not, but then like my laptop. The only thing she came back this time was,
They did do an improvement, energy efficiency.
Yes.
yep, so after reviewing the materials I sent over, cause she asked for,
Done a year ago.
she asked for quite a few things from me, warrant articles, minutes, stuff from the planning board, updates when they updated it. So she said, after reviewing the materials you sent over, I believe impact fees may be used to reimburse the school for the cost of replacing the windows, because the purpose of the replacement was to increase the energy efficiency of the building. Therefore, I would argue they were not maintenance or repair, but rather improvements, which cost at least $10,000 and have a useful life of no less than 5 years.
Yeah. And then Selectman Queenan wrote back asking, can you do it if it's already been paid for? And thus far, we have not heard back from legal counsel on that. We're waiting. Started the meeting, right?
Okay, the purpose of these funds are supposed to be for adding space to a facility, basically, or, huh?
Or upgrades.
Yeah. We have the library sitting here, and we just kinda, ran them through the mill about putting a pavilion in, and it increased their space. This is not increasing space. I think if we pick and choose how we apply this, we're gonna be into a world of hurt with the taxpayers.
My biggest thing is the bill's already been paid for and we're going backwards, and I just don't think that's a good precedent for us to set. Would be my thought on the whole entire thing.
If the work's been done and paid for, why are we asking?
Well, they're asking to bail themselves out of a
Another
hole that they've dug, which is an entirely different problem.
Different process.
The research that I did, and I'll take this out of context, but this was the New Hampshire Municipal Association, said notably, impact fees may not be charged for upgrading existing facilities or infrastructure unless the need for the upgrade is created by the development. So,
Two sides of that one.
I mean, it looks like what they're asking for is totally out of bounds from what I can see. We all know what the purpose of it is. It's not to, it's to pay for something that was already done. So,
And
You know, if they came to us when they were doing it,
That's a separate issue.
it'd be completely different. I think the biggest concern is that it's in arrears,
Yep.
Yep.
and it's already been paid for.
I
And
thi-
if they're challenged, we're on the hook.
Yep.
To pay the bill back if it successfully wins in court.
exactly, and we'd be establishing
Precedent.
a precedent which is not good. And secondly, we would be on the hook. If the developer came back and took it to court and we lost, which based upon the feedback we've gotten, we probably would lose, then we would be on it. So I'm not in favor of this at all. I'll make a motion, we decline to distribute impact fees.
We have a motion by Mr.
Second.
LaSalle's. We have a second by Mr. Leary. Do we have further discussion?
Just like, can I read just two more bullets on
Sure, of
his
course.
reply, just so we can have it on the record? What they are asking to do, this is from Jay, is not what the funds were intended for and not an appropriate use for the impact fee dollars. There are literally millions of dollars for the school already on the SIP plan. Use the SIP plan as it's intended to work. That is, use the funds with a SIP planner for capital improvements, significant improvements like land for a school, even collecting fees to pay off existing bonds is legitimate. You had done this in the past. Funds have constraints. Think of this from the perspective of those who paid the school impact fees. They could challenge it.
Yep.
So concurring was all.
So we have a motion by Mr. LaSalle's, a second by Mr. Leary. Any further discussion? All those in favor not to approve? Mr. Leary? Mr. LaSalle's?
Aye.
Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Ms. Queen?
Aye.
I am also an aye. Motion carries 5-0-0.
Two separate pieces of information.
Okay, so now we can loop back to library, 4550.20.
Are they here yet?
Good evening and welcome.
I know why you were late. You were looking for that picture that used to be hanging outside the children's room downstairs.
Exactly, which I have not been able to locate, so,
All right, we'll get you another one.
okay.
Thank you for accommodating our change.
Thank you.
Well, you had time, you haven't had supper yet.
That's right. You're gonna hear my stomach growling.
What's our number on that, Steve?
So,
4550.
Oh, 4550?
I'll just, run
And there's a
through-
budget link. You should be able
And
to
there's a link
click
to it on
on
the
that
left
link.
side.
Oh,
It's a tough one.
you better just click on the link.
Where's the link?
It says library budget.
Now you tell us. Where is the legend?
It
It
says
says
library.
library
right
budget
underneath.
link, it's like in a blue color, right below.
Oh, this side did
Nope,
not,
found it.
oh, there it is, I got it. Oh, how did that happen?
Okay. Do you guys have computer classes at the library? Because at least 3 of us could use it.
Did you find it, Rich?
I'm getting there. I went the old way.
Oh.
I'm still going the old way, I haven't got there yet.
Budget cover. There we go.
My sheet's blank.
If you hover over it,
Get down here.
you should be able to click.
See all those little things right
Yeah,
there?
oh, yeah, all the little tabs at the
There's
bottom.
other things.
We'll start with budget RSA, or you want to start with
We
budget
can
cover?
go to, the proposed, budget notes and highlights.
Okay.
So,
Just on the
generally,
summary?
we,
After that.
just kind of go over everything that's increasing or decreasing by more than $100. So our biggest thing for this year is, increasing the second assistant librarian position that we have currently at 8 hours to 24 hours. And there is a job description in one of those little tabs that you'll find. The focus of this is to provide support to the children's services, and to myself, but it will also be a position that would support all services in the library. We've had a discussion, and we need to be thinking about succession planning for my position. So,
When are you retiring?
I do not have a date picked out.
Who's your assistant?
We have, Lynn Richardson is the assistant right now, and then Carrie Antosca is the 8-hour assistant.
Okay.
So, both the children's librarian and myself work beyond our weekly hours, which is not a problem for me. I'm salaried, but it is not a good thing for the children's librarian to do. She won't admit that she does it, but I know that she does it. One of those deals. So we like to get out of that situation for sure. And then to just be ready to hire someone to take my place in the not too distant future, but not too soon either. You know, there's gotta be realistic expectations when hiring someone. So, the children's room, like I said, would benefit, you know, she's one person for that whole department, and so whenever she's doing a program, there's no one to work the desk or help anybody that comes in the door. So, we really would like to take care of that. And beyond that, people, after coming off our really successful summer program, they're looking for more things for their school-age kids to do, and we just don't have the coverage for her to be able to do that. So, one of the other things, in direct correlation with my job, is I would like to start to train an assistant to catalog. Not to do all of it, but to know how to do it, because that's my job. It's in my job right now. And then all the other things we've picked up, newsletters, social media. I never had to do the financial stuff until, 10 years ago, when the auditor shot it over my way. So, you know, there's just kind of a lot of things that could be streamlined, and we get a lot of help out of an assistant. So, that is a $10,847 increase in the first year. So that would mean the first quarter would still be the 8 hours, and then, if it were voted through, the remainder of the year would be for the 24-hour position. And, it's at I'm planning for a slightly higher rate than what the starting point is, just because of the way the market is right now, and also our hope to get someone that has experience and not have to start from square one. So it could be less if that doesn't pan out too. The second thing you see here is for page positions, and that would only happen if we can't do the assistant increase, and that's just a very small increase for each of them, from 5.5 hours a week to 7, which would just make it so that the desk can be covered while there are children's programs happening during the week. So, any questions on that part? Okay. Then we're seeing $1,000 roughly increase in the health insurance buyout, as that gets us to reaching our full 50% of the 80% blah blah that we do. We did have a custodial change, so we saved a bit of money there, $615.76. Outside of payroll, then we can look at other operating expenses. In 342, software purchases and licenses, there are a few minor increases for things that we already have, but we did add in Slack. Those of you who couldn't find the tab probably don't know what that is, but some of you others may. And we can do a class on that too. But it's been a great help to us. We started using it when the pandemic hit, and we were all scattered, and we've been using the free version, and now the free version isn't enough. They change their parameters, and they get rid of messages really quickly, so you can't go back to see stuff. And it's just a really super tool. So we would like to get that added in. Electricity, we all know what's going on with that, so you're looking at a $2,000 increase there. Heating oil, I talked to Doug, and he said that they had a verbal quote for $379, but I know the library usually gets charged a little bit more because they can't bring their huge truck to us. They have to bring a smaller one, so I figured a little bit higher than that. Not too terribly much, but once he gets that nailed down, we'll know for sure. So that was $1,000 increase as well.
Fred Fuller used to get in there, no problem.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Those days are gone.
Let's see, it's our year for the septic tank to get cleaned, so that's $325. And then under 670 books and media, we've got our normal increases to digital services. And once again, this year, we're trying to add in Hoopla, which has previously been funded through an ARPA grant. So we got 2 years of service out of that. And then when we had the personnel changeover last year, where we were without someone for a while, we used some of that money to fund it for this year. But, yeah, that's it. So, and with all the increases in electricity and everything else, I don't really anticipate having much left over this year.
What is Hoopla?
So Hoopla is a downloadable service for audiobooks, ebooks, television, movies, and music. And it's very complementary to the service we have with our state consortium. They tend to have things that service doesn't have, so people use both quite often. Periodicals are going down $165 as fewer titles are being subscribed to. We'd like to get everybody to switch over to Overdrive, but that's, hard to do. And then children's programs, we are asking for a $323 increase to cover supplies for our story walks and the December holiday event. So the story walks are the stories that get put up inside the library lawn on the fence, that people walk around and do little things at each panel. And then the December holiday event has been Polar Express in the past, which we got help from the Lions Club for quite a while, and help from McQuestion's with their trailer and those good things. But we really don't have any support for that right now, so we need to fund it through the budget. Decrease in equipment maintenance contracts from having our 5-year load test on the lift this year. And then, just like everybody else, we're waiting for health insurance.
Does it say Karen?
So what, 24,583, but 10,000 of that is the new employee.
That's correct.
8% increase, okay. Okay. Very good. Everybody does red numbers when they decrease, except the libraries, they do blue. It's much friendlier.
I mean, so of 24, 15's pretty much all wages and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Any questions? No? Think everybody's good?
Okay, great.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Apologize for waiting.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, thank
Be
you.
well.
We'll find that picture for you.
Okay. I'll be ready.
So that just leaves us with preliminary budget adoption. Ms. White.
Yeah, if you guys want to, I guess do a vote for a preliminary adoption of it. It will go to the budget committee. It has to be to them by the 22nd. And then the 29th is our first budget hearing.
I just hate sending them a budget over the tax cap.
How much
Yeah.
over is it?
Were we over 300?
Yeah,
Over?
yeah.
Ouch. Frank Barr.
I mean, that, I'm just really concerned about the revenues. But
300,000?
I,
Over tax cap right now. That's with no warrant articles.
309,885.
That's with no warrant articles and without no insurance.
So where's the
Well, it's 100,000 in the police, 66 in fire.
200, in police, 99, I think, in highway.
Yep,
Um,
because we got the new salt price,
yep,
Yep.
yep. I think IT was up, I'll tell you.
75.
So town clerk was up 14, and then tax collector 16, so they were up like 30. Accounting was up 10. IT was up 71. Personnel was up 46. General government building 17. I think most of that might have been gas, or a lot of it was gas. Police admin 217, 517. And again, we don't have insurance. Police support 2974, ambulance 3500, fire 66, hydrants were down, code only up 1200, and then the other one, road maintenance 98,669.
And the majority of it, wages.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah.
we have probably fuel is another big part of it. Salt's gonna be a big part of
Yeah.
it, so
Yep, salt went up.
they're all like contractual and then buyouts.
This not gonna be good.
That's why
Have
we have
any
a budget
sug-
committee.
Have any suggestions, Robert? No, I'm serious.
Have the town buy a Powerball ticket. No, I mean, we've been so tight the last few years, and
Yeah, comes-
eventually you have to spend some money, but budgets got their job they have to do also.
And we got the tax cap.
And the tax cap is the kicker, but
It's always gonna be a kicker.
And I don't think we're gonna be able to encumber a whole lot this year either,
No, I don't think
because a lot
so.
of our budget's
I mean,
up.
I've done projections, and then something else, will hit you, and hopefully there is some that things can be bought before the end of the year, and not encumber.
60,000, 70,000 maybe, I mean,
Yeah, that's about
not gonna be
it.
long.
no.
Yeah, that's about it. You might get one police cruiser
Yeah,
or,
strip a cruiser out of there, so that's half of that 128, so now it's
that's
60,
yeah.
60 and change you just saved there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still looking for another 240.
Maybe we could somehow move all of the raw materials and fuels and utilities
I know what you're thinking.
in a separate line item, because it's very understandable what the increase is, and we have no control over it. And somehow move that outside
Outside the budget.
the budget.
Opera.
I don't know how much that would amount to, probably not too much.
move it outside the budget for like a warrant article, you mean?
I don't know, I mean, a warrant article would be one thing, but you see what I'm saying? We can't control that.
Yep,
Yeah, and the other side of this too, the opera fund that we just received, that number, that was given to us through the state and the government to handle extra cost.
Yep,
So this is something we need to look at, possibly using that,
I think that's a good
it's a
use
good
of it.
idea, Kevin.
okay? I think, because the increased cost is caused by the economy and all the other stuff, but due to the COVID and everything else going through, everything was affected.
We'll just have to vet it out if it's a funding mechanism we can use it for.
I would assume the cruises would be a reasonable,
Yeah, we'd have to look and see which ones would actually fall under it.
Something that we're gonna look into.
I think under lost revenue, you can use it for a lot of things, and I believe it is, if it was something you would have budgeted for.
Mm-hmm.
Not something that,
oh, over and above.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cause there was a few categories you could do it under, but they tell you to do it under lost revenue, cause that's pretty broad, that you can,
That's very broad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fuel costs is revenue we lost. I mean, you're losing, but it
Yeah, I
costs us
don't
more.
know that you could do it for fuel costs. I mean, you could do it to buy, a police vehicle,
Yeah.
roads and, stuff like that. I don't know that you
Can
can make
you
it up for
figure out
fuel.
for me, please, how much of an increase we have because of fuel, propane,
All types of fuel.
electricity, et cetera,
Salt.
water.
Yeah.
Salt, so that I can have a figure when we go to budget, and I can at least try to explain this to the rest of the committee.
And let them know we're gonna try to work on it on
Yeah.
next meeting, next Monday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I just hate bringing it to them over the tax cap, cause it's our job to get it down, not theirs.
Yeah.
But they're good at tweaking.
They are, they're very good at it, but you know, it's, in the past, we've always worked together. We've
Yes.
gotten ourselves close, if not under, and then we've worked together.
Yeah, we've had a very good relationship with them.
Okay.
So we can do that, and if you can relay that message that we're gonna take the efforts on next Monday night to try to
Yeah,
They're meeting
take the
this
bell
week,
sander to it with them.
yeah, we're meeting Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, so we want a
Go
chance
back
to.
to-
All right, I think that's all we have for our public session. We do have one non-public session this evening under RSA 91A:32C, reputation of an employee.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
are we gonna go through the selectmen reports?
Oh, forgot all about those. Yes, we are.
Not that there's
Thank
anything
you.
earth-shattering, but
All right, first we'll do the TA report.
Honestly, I've been so busy this week, I really have. I have nothing at this
Okay.
time.
We'll give you a hall pass.
Okay, good,
Ms.
thank you.
Queenan?
For the Board of Selectmen, I have received an inquiry from a citizen concerning some legalities concerning the school district, and we will need to get legal review. Would you like me to email it to Karen for that? It's 10 pages, so I will send you that.
It was quite lengthy.
Really?
Only 10?
Planning Board, we meet Tuesday, tomorrow, September 20th, 7 PM at the Town Hall. We'll be discussing potential zoning ordinances for warrant articles and identifying master plans that need to be updated. Regarding the 10-year transportation plan, J.M. Cara from NRPC presented our two projects to the TTAC Committee on Wednesday, September 14th. That was for the Corning Road intersection in 3A and the sidewalk on Pinecrest. I will ask him again for an update on the signage about Albuquerque Ave, where he stands with that. As far as the National Regional Planning Commission, the next quarterly meeting is this Wednesday, September 21st, at 7 PM at NRPC's headquarters, 30 Temple Street in Nashua, New Hampshire. The next committee is the Capital Improvement Planning Committee. We met this Thursday, September 15th. We'll be requesting Jay Mancara to provide the SIP committee with a current list of the department requests and priorities they have listed to date, and a current update on the status of the impact fees. He was absent for the meeting, so we were kind of in the water saying, where's the information? So we'll ask him to have that for us now. A question was raised by Kerry Douglas to research if there are any existing sunsetting impact fees, so we'll research that, and I'll ask him tomorrow night when I see him. The next SIP meeting will be Monday, October 3rd at 6 PM at the Town Hall. We requested all the department heads to do a final presentation of their requests, include any updates to their priority ranking, discuss whether they intend to use ARPA money for some or all of the costs on their projects, and to discuss whether they intend to create warrant articles for some or all of the costs for their projects. We know it's gonna be a long night, and if they can't come, we ask that they at least send electronically. The school is welcome to attend. The Board of Selectmen wanted the school to present their projects to the SIP committee once they were ready after their September 19th meeting tonight was held. Karen, thank you very much. You just forwarded the department, the SIP heads, anybody giving us information for the SIP committee, the ARPA information we requested. We wanted to know what ARPA funds would pay for and the key dates for their use. So all of the department heads will get that before they come to our meeting. And maybe we can forward it to everybody, because it looks like you have a final ruling here.
Yeah.
So we were always like, it might cover, it might not. So there's a final ruling here that might help us, especially budgeting over there.
Now, on the CIP with the school.
Yeah.
I thought that what we said was that we weren't going to have them present until this is taken care of, not just this meeting.
No,
But
taken
until
care of.
the issue is completely
Yeah,
taken
there
care
were
of.
two things. When they felt ready, what did I say here? Once they were ready, and also after their September 19th school meeting.
Because they were ready last week and they made a point of that, of
Right.
stating that. But until this issue is resolved with a definitive answer as to how it's going to be taken care of, I don't think it's proper that they present
And I agree.
anything.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
And that was, I think, pretty clear in the email.
how are we gonna find out when they're 100% resolved? Because I sent it out to all the department heads, they're one of them.
Well,
How do you want it?
let's see when this evening brings.
Okay, we'll see with that. We also, just one more thing, we set up another SIP meeting for October 12th, because we know we're running out of time with the budget, so.
Okay, so you guys, what, 5th and the 12th?
We have the 3rd
The 3rd and the 12th.
and the 12th. Okay, so we'll see what happens tonight.
Recreation Commission, I was not at the meeting last Tuesday since I was at the election polls until very late at night. And school facility improvement meets next Wednesday. Mr. Larry.
The budget committee, we are meeting Thursday night, so, as we get ready to get underway for all our budgetary gatherings. And, on a side note, the, Old Town Hall painting is finished as contracted. The only thing left to do there is some repairs on some shutters. Some were missing hardware, some needed replacement, some needed, parts fixed, slats replaced, things like that. Replacing some dowels that held them together. We hope to have that done sometime this week. And, we also replaced the light on the front of the building, which I have the bill for that, Karen. That's what we had the repair funds
Okay,
for.
yep, yep.
Right now, I'm thinking that we probably won't even use half of that $5,000 amount that was put aside for the taxpayers for the repairs on the building. I think we'll be somewhere in the 2,000 to 2,500 when all said and done. Hopefully less than that. But it is all finished with the painting.
It looks good.
Looks great.
Good job.
Yeah,
Nice color.
Nice color.
beautiful.
Gleams now.
I think it gleams. I really do, Robert. I think it's, you've done a great job on it, and,
It's a lot of work.
have you changed the paint scheme on the front door?
Yes, they asked for a slightly different green than what was on there before. And I think it really makes it pop in a real nice way.
I just noticed the difference, and I didn't know what it was, but
Yeah, it's a little
You see
bit
the door
different. Yeah.
They wanted to match the doctor's house on the other side of the church, whoever lived there
Oh,
before.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
they-
yeah, the
those
old-
two are now with
yeah,
the same
the-
green.
The old Isaac Center house.
And I
okay,
think
yeah.
there's extra paint that they might try to do the church door, from what I'm hearing, to make it all match.
Drive down Route 3, it looks all the same.
It's pretty though. Looks good.
Hey, Mr. Lynch.
I have nothing to report, I couldn't go.
Okay. Mr. LaSalle's?
the Heritage Commission, if they met, I didn't get a report on it. At last I heard, there was not gonna be a meeting. But then, Carl said that, he may put some minutes together. Apparently some of the minutes from past meetings haven't been prepared properly. So that was being done, but other than that, there's nothing. And we haven't had any natural disasters, so haven't had any on that side. We did meet, last Thursday in the House of Representatives, and there were about a dozen, I think, governor's vetoes, and all of them were sustained. In other words, it was not, the governor's vetoes were not overturned, with the exception of one. The House voted to overturn one of the governor's vetoes, which was the veto on the landfill. You may have heard it in the news, there's a big controversy up north about a landfill that's fairly close to a lake. The House of Representatives voted to overturn the governor's veto, but then the Senate sustained his veto. So none of the governor's vetoes. But what was interesting is that we passed, and the Senate passed, and the governor signed, all in one day, some additional funding for people for heating relief, heating fuel and so forth. And there's a formula for it, but I guess there have been people who have qualified in the past, but now there are additional people that qualify. So it adds up to, I don't know, $400 to $600 in additional heating relief. So that was all passed in one day, so that was good. And that's for this coming heating season. So that was good.
Great job up there.
Thank you.
We appreciate everything you do up there for us, you and Ralph.
All right, so the only thing left is a non-public session under RSA 91A:3 2C, reputation of employee. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So move.
Motion by Mr. LaSalle's, second by Mr. Larry. Roll call vote, Ms. Queenan.
Aye.
I am a yes.
Aye.
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 We are now going into non-public. While we do not anticipate the need to return to a public session following the non-public session for any reason other than to adjourn the meeting, we reserve the right to do so if the non-public session necessitates the board taking action in a public session. We are now in non-public. Thank you for tuning in and have a good night.